Imagine you're looking at a map. A map can show mountains, rivers, cities, and roads. But none of those things actually exist on the paper. What you see are just representations, symbols that help us understand reality without being reality itself. This is one of the central ideas Alan Watts masterfully explored. The concepts, words, and names we use to describe the world are not the world. They're just labels. When we say tree, we're not showing a real tree. We're simply using sounds or letters to point to something that exists outside of language. Watts said we confuse names with the actual things, and by doing so, we lose the direct experience of the world. Instead of seeing a tree as it is, we see the concept of a tree, an idea, a symbol, and that distances us from the pure, non-conceptual reality of life. According to Alan Watts, this confusion between symbols and reality is one of the greatest traps of the human mind. Language, though a powerful tool for communication, is limited. When you hear the word love, for example, your mind brings up memories, sensations, personal stories. But none of those things is love itself. Real love is a lived experience, not a concept. Watts suggested that the more we rely on symbols to understand the world, the further we get from direct experience. It's like mistaking the menu for the meal. You can read a dish description, but it'll never replace the actual taste in your mouth. And the most powerful part of this perspective is that it invites us to let go of excessive thinking and dive into presence, where reality reveals itself without conceptual filters. At this point, Watts's philosophy touches something deeply spiritual, the idea that truth lies beyond words. Alan Watts was one of the most influential thinkers of the 20th century when it comes to spirituality, consciousness, and the art of living in the present moment. Born in England in 1915, he stood out for translating complex concepts from Eastern philosophy into language the Western world could understand. Accessible, engaging, and profoundly transformative. His work wasn't just academic. He spoke from the heart, like someone who truly lived what he taught. He wasn't just a philosopher. He was a pointer showing the way out of the restless mind and into the silence of the now. His lectures, books, and recordings spread across the world, helping millions rethink life, death, the ego, and our connection with the universe. He challenged the automatic way we live and invited everyone to awaken to the beauty of the present, something few dared to do with such clarity and courage. Among his most important contributions was his ability to merge Eastern thought, like Zen Buddhism, Taoism, and Hinduism, with the language and dilemmas of the Western mind. He explained that the human mind created the illusion of a separate self, as if we were beings isolated from the rest of the universe. But to Watts, this was an illusion. He said we're like waves in the ocean, temporary expressions of something greater, the whole. This view dismantles the ego, frees us from the need for control, and invites us to simply be. One of his teachings is that time isn't real in the way we imagine it. He argued that the past and the future are just thoughts, memories, or expectations, and that the only moment that truly exists is now. Living outside the now, he said, is living in illusion, anxiety, disconnection. Alan Watts believed that one of modern life's biggest mistakes is our constant escape from the present moment. He said we live as if we're always in transit, always rushing toward the next appointment, the next desire, the next achievement. And in that hurry, we forget to live. Watts compared it to how many people eat. Instead of savoring the dish in front of them, they're already thinking about the next one. They're not really eating. They're craving. To him, this was a reflection of how our mind is always projecting the future or replaying the past, but rarely surrendering to the now. This constant anxiety prevents us from seeing the beauty of the moment, the flavor of life that can only be experienced in the present. Watts's proposal was simple, but revolutionary. Live now, feel now, savor now. He invited us to be fully present in every action, no matter how small. If you're eating, eat. Smell the aromas, feel the textures, the heat or freshness of the food. If you're walking, just walk. Hear the sound of your steps. Feel the wind on your face. Notice the movement of your body. It's not about stopping planning or forgetting responsibilities. It's about realizing that the only thing that truly exists is the present. The future is just an idea. The past is a memory. But now is the only tangible reality. For Watts, living in the present is the doorway to a fuller, more conscious, and happier life. It's when we step out of autopilot and awaken to the infinite richness of the moment. From a very young age, we're conditioned by an educational system and a culture that teach us to see life as a staircase, where each step is just preparation for the next. When we're in school, the goal is to pass the test. Then it's getting into college. Then getting a good job, buying a house, a better car, climbing the career ladder, always having more. We can never be satisfied. It's never about now. It's never about being present. The system doesn't teach us how to live. It teaches us how to keep chasing. We're led to believe that happiness is just around the corner, hiding behind the next achievement. And in that race, we become eternally dissatisfied, always feeling like something is missing, like we're stuck on a treadmill, running without going anywhere, driven by promises that never fully materialize. Alan Watts pointed to this cycle as one of the great traps of modernity. The idea that life is a goal to be achieved rather than a dance to be enjoyed. The educational system, instead of cultivating curiosity and presence, teaches obedience and productivity. Culture values status more than experience, having more than being. This creates a legion of anxious, frustrated people who constantly compare their lives to idealized standards. We work to buy things we were told would bring us happiness. But in practice, they only distract us from the emptiness we feel by not being connected to the now. Watts said this model is like a song no one listens to, because everyone's in a rush to get to the final note. But life isn't about the last note. It's about the melody. And as long as we're conditioned to keep chasing, we'll never realize that what we most desire might already be here. If you've made it this far, I invite you to do something different. Don't just leave this video with one more idea in your head. Leave with a decision in your heart, the decision to live in the now. That's right. Whatever you're about to do next, whether it's drinking coffee, washing dishes, walking down the street, or just looking out the window, do it with full attention. Feel every detail, the smell, the sound, the touch, the rhythm. Because real life doesn't happen in what you've already lived or what's yet to come. It happens in this exact moment, and you deserve to be fully present in it. So take a deep breath, put your phone down for a minute, and live. Really live. With presence, with intention, with soul. Turn even the simplest gesture into a moment of beauty. Because life doesn't wait, it happens. And you? Are you going to live it, or just let it pass you by?